Sarah Greaves is a grieving widow whose life shattered when her husband David was brutally murdered by two strangers in the quiet town of Pine Hollow. Justice was never served. The police dismissed the case as unsolvable, and the townsfolk avoided her, whispering about her misfortune. Left alone in her dilapidated cabin at the edge of the forest, Sarah's grief turned into rage, and rage soon morphed into a dark obsession. Revenge. The story begins in Pine Hollow, a small, isolated town nestled near a dense forest. The locals share rumors about a woman named Sarah Greaves, who lives in a decaying cabin at the forest's edge. Known for her solitude, Sarah becomes the subject of a dark urban legend. Sarah's backstory unfolds. Years ago, she lived a happy life with her husband, David. One fateful evening, David was murdered by two hitchhikers they had kindly picked up on a stormy night. The killers escaped, and Sarah was left broken, bitter, and alone. Sarah seeks justice from the local police, but the investigation fizzles out due to lack of evidence. The townspeople, initially supportive, grow distant, leaving Sarah isolated and consumed by grief. Pine Hollow has long been known for its eerie folklore. Among the most chilling tales is that of the Hitchhiker, a mysterious middle-aged woman who haunts the desolate road cutting through the forest. Travelers who pick her up are said to vanish without a trace. Locals swear it's just a ghost story, but those who've heard whispers of missing persons know better. Unable to move on, Sarah transforms her sorrow into hatred. Her once cozy cabin becomes a fortress of despair, filled with weapons, traps, and mementos of her late husband. She starts fantasizing about revenge. One evening, Sarah, on her way home from having tried to follow up on her husband's case, a drunk truck driver offers Sarah a ride late at night. He becomes aggressive and reminds her of David's killers. In a fit of rage, she murders him, burying the body deep in the forest. This marks the beginning of her killing spree as more people go missing on the road near Pine Hollow. Rumors of a ghostly hitchhiker spread. Locals believe Sarah is dead, not knowing she's alive and actively hunting. Sarah becomes an expert in survival and begins laying traps around her forest home to ensure no one can escape once they've crossed her path. Sarah develops a pattern. She poses as a vulnerable hitchhiker, gains her victims' trust, and attacks them when they least expect it. She keeps tokens from each victim as trophies. Lila and Ethan, a young couple in their late 20s, set out for a weekend getaway in a cozy cabin near Pine Hollow. Ethan is pragmatic and cautious, while Lila is adventurous and kind-hearted. They dismiss the legends they hear from a gas station attendant as mere superstitions. Lila and Ethan, a young couple traveling to a secluded mountain resort to celebrate their anniversary. Lila is kind and trusting, while Ethan is pragmatic and cautious. Their relationship dynamics set the stage for their ordeal. At a roadside diner near Pine Hollow, an old man warns Lila and Ethan about the local hitchhiker legend. Ethan dismisses it as nonsense, but Lila can't shake the eerie feeling. On a rainy evening, Lila and Ethan spot Sarah standing by the roadside with a suitcase. Against Ethan's better judgment, Lila insists on giving the middle-aged woman a lift. Sarah's unsettling behavior during the drive begins to raise red flags. She evades questions about where she's going and occasionally mutters to herself. Ethan grows suspicious, but Lila remains polite. Lila and Ethan's car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. While Ethan tries to figure out the issue, Sarah emerges from the woods, suitcase in hand, and asks for a ride. Lila insists on helping the harmless woman, despite Ethan's unease as Sarah sits in the back seat. Her demeanor is unsettling. She avoids personal questions, her responses cryptic. Ethan notices the knife tucked in her suitcase when she shifts it. He whispers his concerns to Lila, but she brushes them off. Sarah guides them to an abandoned gas station under the pretense of knowing a shortcut. Sarah convinces the couple to take a detour, claiming it will save them time. The road leads deeper into the forest, where Sarah's traps await. Is eerily quiet. As Ethan steps out to investigate, Sarah makes her move, locking the doors and threatening Lila with her knife. Sarah reveals her true nature, attacking Ethan with a concealed knife. The couple manages to escape the car, but Sarah pursues them into the woods. Lila and Ethan navigate the dark, treacherous forest, encountering Sarah's traps. Ethan steps on a hidden spike, injuring his leg, while Lila struggles to keep them moving. The couple stumbles upon Sarah's underground bunker, filled with grisly trophies, bloodied clothing, weapons, and photographs of her victims. They realize the scale of her madness. Sarah tracks them relentlessly, using her knowledge of the forest to corner them. Lila and Ethan narrowly escape several traps, but are separated in the chaos. Sarah captures Lila and drags her to the cabin. There, Sarah reveals her tragic backstory, justifying her actions as vengeance for the murder of her husband. Ethan, injured but determined, uses his survival skills to track Sarah's movements. He discovers a hunting rifle left behind by a previous victim. Ethan storms Sarah's cabin in a desperate attempt to save Lila. A brutal fight ensues, but Sarah overpowers him and locks them both in the basement. Lila and Ethan work together to find a way out of the basement. They discover a hidden passage that leads into the forest, but realize Sarah is nearby. Ethan sets a trap for Sarah, using her own tactics against her. The couple manages to injure Sarah, but she escapes into the woods. The couple lures Sarah into an open clearing. Using the hunting rifle, Ethan confronts her, demanding she surrender. Sarah refuses, charging at them with a knife. In a moment of desperation, Lila fires the rifle, killing Sarah. The couple collapses in relief, but is haunted by what they've endured. The couple reports Sarah's crimes to the police. Investigators uncover the full extent of her killing spree, dubbing her the Hitchhiker killer. Lila and Ethan return to their normal lives, but the trauma lingers. Lila becomes an advocate for hitchhiker safety, while Ethan struggles with survivor's guilt. Despite Sarah's death, rumors of the hitchhiker persist. Travelers continue to avoid the road near Pine Hollow, believing her ghost still roams the forest. The story ends with a new driver stopping on the same desolate road to pick up a hitchhiker, a figure resembling Sarah. The cycle begins anew, leaving readers questioning whether evil truly dies. Lila and Ethan work together to find a way out of the basement. They discover a hidden passage that leads into the forest, but realize Sarah is nearby. Ethan sets a trap for Sarah, using her own tactics against her. The couple manages to injure Sarah, but she escapes into the woods. The couple lures Sarah into an open clearing. Using the hunting rifle, Ethan confronts her, demanding she surrender. Sarah refuses, charging at them with a knife. In a moment of desperation, Lila fires the rifle, killing Sarah. The couple collapses in relief, but is haunted by what they've endured. The couple reports Sarah's crimes to the police. Investigators uncover the full extent of her killing spree, dubbing her the Hitchhiker killer. Lila and Ethan return to their normal lives, but the trauma lingers. Lila becomes an advocate for hitchhiker safety, while Ethan struggles with survivor's guilt. Despite Sarah's death, rumors of the hitchhiker persist. Travelers continue to avoid the road near Pine Hollow, believing her ghost still roams the forest. The story ends with a new driver stopping on the same desolate road to pick up a hitchhiker, a figure resembling Sarah. The cycle begins anew, leaving readers questioning whether evil truly dies